183 workers who are on layoff would be in Windsor are happy about. These aren't people that can be fooled by a quick motion that offers them a pat in the back. The auto industry is one of the major players in the Ontario economy and the economy of the entire country. It represents 112,000 people in Canada who pump $6.1 billion into the economy, a large portion of that right here in Ontario. Yet over the last 10 years, all they've seen is jobs disappear. They're the men and women who make manufacturing and export happen in this province, and they're not happy with the state of the auto industry. And they aren't bad workers. Let's not blame the workers here. In fact, they're highly qualified, highly productivity, highest skilled trade in the industrial world. You talk to any manufacturer and they'll tell you the Canadian auto worker is the best. I say to this government, should invest in our manufacturing and exporting sector so that we can speak to this motion more truthfully, so that every year when October comes around, we can honestly say we're proud of what the province has done for manufacturers and exporters. We've seen manufacturers leave this province under this government. We saw job loss at Hayes Dana, Edshaw, Dana Brake, John Deere, all places where the government did nothing while manufacturing left. Mr. Speaker, when the manufacturers take their business elsewhere, they're leaving workers out to dry. Look at Vertus in my own riding. The company went under and refused to pay the employees their severance pay they were owed. Some people had 35 years seniority and received nothing, yet the company is still selling that product right here in Ontario. Employees of Energen and Welland are just as nervous. Right now, Energen is sitting in bankruptcy protection. Our Welland constituency office are hearing it daily. Workers covered by U.S. Steel are worried about their pensions. They put their lifetime of work in the manufacturing sector, and now they're turning to the government to protect what they've earned. These are just a few stories from struggling manufacturers right across the province. Places like Welland, Niagara Falls, Fort Erie, Niagara-on-the-Lake, Thorold need government to properly support our manufacturing and exporting sector. People from Niagara want to hear about supporting our manufacturers the same way they're hearing about layoffs and closures. But the government has the power to stop this, and that's key. Mr. Speaker, I ask my fellow MPPs, have you been on a plant that the day it closed? I'm asking anybody here. Well, I've been there. To see them scared, crying, worried about their future, not knowing if they're going to be able to continue for their families. Imagine having to go home and tell your children, through no fault of your own, that their dad or their mom has lost their job. Two things have caused the manufacturing jobs to flee in this province: the high price of the dollar, the petrodollar that we've had for a number of years, and the price of hydro. I was there. I watched the effects of both of these. With the price of the dollar falling back to the mid-80s, where the number of the economists say it would be by the end of the year, the government can act today to make Ontario a better place for manufacturing. A motion like this would do anything for workers who are facing job loss. Lowering hydro rates for manufacturers, supporting exporters, and protecting pensions can help the manufacturers in this province. In the auto industry, we have found for every job created directly in the car manufacturing plant, there are 8 other jobs that are corrected on the spin-off jobs. We could have created 1,000 jobs. We're actually giving the province 8,000. So you would have got those 1,000 jobs in Windsor, you would have got 8,000 jobs. You imagine what that would have done to the high unemployment in Windsor. When we miss out on 1,000 jobs, we lose 8,000. Mr. Speaker, let's come up with an Ontario-wide auto policy. Let's lower our hydro rates. That will actually help manufacturers. But also believe members across from me need to step up and support our workers. Windsor is a great example. That money that won't go back into our province and the jobs that won't go to people who desperately need them. That's exactly the same story we saw over the last 10 years. 3,000 jobs were lost in St. Thomas. You talk with the auto sector. 2,000 were lost in my home local in St. Catharines. 3,000 in Oshawa. Every other country in the world is supporting manufacturing because they know how important it is to their overall health of their economy and putting jobs and good-paying jobs in those. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be in the United States. It can be in Brazil. It could be in Sweden. It can be in Finland. They're all doing it. I'm encouraging this government to do the same thing. Our children and our grandchildren need that to happen. So, Mr. Speaker, We can pass a motion like this and be done with it, or we can fight to protect our manufacturers, our exporters, and the workers who depend on the sector right here in Ontario for the betterment of our kids and our grandkids. Thank you very much.